Welcome back, students. Here we are from Bachelor of Computer Application, GH College, Haveri. So, in this session, we are discussing about 8085 microprocessor counters and time delays. Fine. What are counters and time delays? What are counters and time delays? Counters are used to keep track of the events, what all the events are happening in the program. Time delays are the most important in setting up reasonably accurate timing between two events. So, what are the events are happening, and the time delays are reasonable to maintain the time between two events. Fine. So the first comes counters. What is counter? A counter is designed simply by loading an appropriate number into one of the registers. And one of the registers. So you can choose any register, accumulator A, B, C, D, E, H, and L. Any register. Fine. And using the INR, that is increment register by 1, which are the register, which one the register you are choosing, incrementing it or decrementing it. A loop is established to update the count, and each count is checked to determine whether it has reached the final number. If not, the loop is repeated. If it is reached, the counter will come out of the loop. So designing counter is a frequent programming applications. Counters are used primarily to keep track of events. A counter is designed by simply by loading an appropriate number into one of the registers. Fine. The next one is the next one is time delays. So the procedure used to design a specific time delay is similar to that of counter. But first of all, what is time delay? A time delay can be implemented through a program by loading a register as good as what you have done in counter. So a register is loaded with a number depending upon the time delay what we have required or what we require, and then the register is decremented until it reaches 0 by setting up a loop with a conditional jump instruction. The loop causes the delay depending upon the clock period of the system. Let us see this flowchart. So load a register where you want to use it as delay register. When a register is loaded with the number depending upon the delay time what we require. So this is what the body of the loop, and this is what condition where it has to continue in the loop. So how to calculate time delays? So each instruction passes through the different combination of opcode fetch, memory read, and memory write cycles. Knowing the combination of cycles, that is T states, one can calculate how long an instruction would require to complete. That is number of bytes, number of machine cycles, and number of T states. Knowing how many T-states an instruction requires and keeping in mind that a T-state is one clock cycle long, we can calculate time delay using the following formula. That is, time delay is equal to number of T-states into clock period. For example, MVI instruction uses 7 T-states. Therefore, if the microprocessor is running at 2 megahertz frequency, the instruction would require 3.5 microseconds. That is 7 T-states into 2 megahertz. If we calculate, it becomes 3.5 microseconds. It takes 3.5 microseconds to execute MVI instructions. So we can design time delay using following three techniques. So only single resistor, and using a single pair, or using loop inside a loop, that is nested pair, nested looping. So we consider it one by one. Using one resistor, a count is loaded in a resistor, and we can use a loop to produce a certain amount of time delay in the program. The following is an example of delay using one resistor. So let us take an example, MVI C comma FFH. So FF is loaded immediately into the resistor C. So it takes 70 states. Then this is label, then decrement C. So C is decremented by 1 and it contains 40 states. Then J and Z loop, so it will come back to loop here. So it takes 10 T states. Fine. So this is a program using only one resistor. Here is the one resistor C. Fine. The first instruction initializes the loop counter and is executed only once, requiring only 7 T states. The following instruction forms the loop that requires 14 T states to execute and is repeated 255 times until C becomes 0. There comes a question, why it takes 255 times. So from FF to 00 it is 255. So from 00 to FF it is 255 times. That's why we have taken FF here. So it takes 255 times to become C0. Fine. So using one resistor, we need to keep in mind that in the last iteration of the loop, J and Z instruction will fail. At that time, it takes only 7 states, whereas in other time it takes 10 states. Therefore, we must deduct 3 states from the total time delay to get an accurate delay calculation. So to calculate delay, we use the formula, that is total time delay is equal to T naught plus TL. Here T delay is nothing but total time delay. T naught is the delay outside the loop. TL is the delay inside the loop. So T naught is the sum of all delays outside the loop. TL is calculated using the formula, that is TL is equal to T into loop T states into N number of iterations. Fine. So the calculation is here. So T naught is 70 states, that is delay outside the loop, that is delay because of MVI instruction. Then TL is 14, that in 14 states. I will tell you how it is 14 here. This is 10 plus 4 is 14 states. So into 255. So why 255? Because from FF to 00 it takes 255. Then minus 3. Why minus 3? At the last, when the condition fails, so it takes only 70 states. So the total C state is 3567 T states. So 14 T states for 2 instruction repeated 250 times, that is from FF to 00, that is 16, that is 255, and reduced by 3 states when G and Z fails at the final iteration. So the total delay is equal to T naught plus TL divided by F, that is frequency, that is 7 plus 3567 divided by 2 megahertz. So the answer is 3574 into 0.5 microseconds. So the total time delay is taken is 1.787 microseconds, assuming frequency is 2 megahertz. The frequency means the frequency of 8085 operating is 2 megahertz, and it is given in exams.